Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
Kim LOVITO, you've heard her, you've seen her. She is an RN, but she's not just an ordinary RN. She's the director of the Adult Daycare Center at the Volen Center. And I would tell you that the Volen Center is like a Renaissance center. I was thinking about it as we were talking before. It does so many things, Kim. And for people out there who don't need a daycare center, you don't have to think about it. It's in a different location at the Volen Center. What we want to do, we really want to focus today on all the extraordinary, beautiful activities that you have that most people don't even know. And you can go there where it's free at first, but if you're going there all the time, it's just a little bit of money for a whole year. You said I think it was $60?
$60 a year for the membership.
This is crazy. 60. Are you sure it's not 600?
60 a year. I get that question all the time. It's 60 a year. It includes other activities just for members that aren't included for the outside public.
Right. But so I think maybe at this time we could talk about the Volen Center. Just what are some of those kinds of activities that someone can go and just the different times they go, do they sign in? I mean, does someone watch who they are? How does that work?
They'll come in through the front area and check in with the person who registers you at the front desk. We have life enrichment program assistants that are all over. They can instruct you to say, you want arts and crafts? Down the hallway. You want to go use the computers? Down the other hallway. We have different clubs, different entertainment going on all week long. I can give you information on, for instance, Latin American Club on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 on Tuesdays at 1 from Thursdays at 10. And
what happens in there?
Discuss today's news, learn English, and complimentary refreshments.
And do you find that there are a lot of Hispanics who want to go and do this?
Absolutely. Now I've been with Volen Center for just over 2 years. I've seen people from when I first started there who could not read and write English or speak a few words in English, and now are there every day, are learning. We have an amazing volunteer, Vicky, who's there, who's helping them, and they're learning the language, learning to read and write the language and communicate. So it's great.
Okay, well, that's extremely important because, it's funny. There are people who are foreigners, and they come, and they just can't, they're afraid, they can't get involved, they don't speak well, they're embarrassed. But here they can come, and they don't have to speak, but they can learn, and then it'll be fine. So it's definitely a Hispanic, well, we call it what do you call it again?
The Latin American Club.
Latin American Club. And that goes on twice a week.
Twice a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays. Tuesdays at 1 p.m., Thursdays at 10 a.m.
And it lasts for what, an hour?
Well, I've seen it last longer than an hour. I've seen it last the rest of the afternoon. Yeah, everyone gets together. You're having refreshments. You're getting into conversation, and, you make friends, and you have the room available, so they end up staying in there.
So there's
often.
A special room where people go in. And they can speak Spanish if they want to one another, right? And then, but there's a teacher who does try to get them to learn English because that was the point of their coming.
Yep, absolutely.
That's really fantastic. Okay, that's a good one. I'm really happy you talked about that. What's the next one?
So we have the Senior Gay and Lesbian Social Club. That's every Monday at 11:15 to 1 p.m. Coffee, snacks, very social. It's always busy.
I'll talk about that a little bit because, let's see, I've been doing this many years, and probably it was 20 years ago when people started letting older adults let people know that they were gay. And they didn't know where to go. In fact, they couldn't even go into, I don't know if you know this, into senior residences. They were kind of shunned, and they didn't know what they're going to do. And all of a sudden now, the senior residences have enough people who are that way, and they're just wonderful. In fact, I find them to be more friendly than the other public. But so now they have a place they can go and feel that they can laugh and talk about what they want,
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. And again, every Monday from 11:15 to 1. And again, it doesn't stop at 1 o'clock. You're socializing. If the room needs to be used, we have a huge lobby. We have a piano out there. We have a huge auditorium. We have a bistro where you can have lunch. You're not cut off. Let's put it that way.
people who aren't gay or lesbian can also go there too if they want to.
Yep.
Because so many of them are so kind, and it's just a lovely place to be, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, that's really nice that you've taken care of that. A lot of places wouldn't do that, and I'm very happy. That's why I love South Florida. We're so diverse.
We are.
Okay.
All right, so this is the beat. This is every Thursday. We have live music and dancing with free refreshments. It's Thursdays from 1 to 2:30. Dance, mingle, and meet new friends. So it's always very busy on Thursdays.
And do people dance?
Of course they dance. And some of our staff dance, too. So
where's the music coming from?
we have different live entertainers that come in.
Really?
Yep.
So this isn't music on tape. This is
No.
live music,
Live
and people
music.
can dance.
Absolutely.
Oh, my
different
heavens.
different sort of genres too. You'll get the Thursdays where you have more of the Frank Sinatra's, and then some weeks we have salsa, and it's all very different.
I love that. Now, I think that should be very popular.
It is very popular.
See, so people, we've talked about different kinds of people who come there. They can go to everyone. So I'm thinking that someone could go every single day.
Yes,
and
they
they
can.
could have a very delightful life. Mm-hmm. They don't have to be lonely anymore.
Correct. They're not sitting in front of the TV. Get on one of our buses and get to the Volen Center.
So they can make friends. And one thing that we should talk about before we go on with more of these wonderful social situations is if someone, though, has to stay home because they have someone that needs the care, why don't you talk about the daycare for a moment? And that makes it a nice revelation for them to do both.
Correct. At our East Boca location, we do have a licensed adult daycare center. It is not the same as the active adult center, okay? It's a completely different side of the facility. I have a lot of people out there who are caregivers, who feel like they're stuck at home because they have someone to take care of. That's not the case. Adult daycare is there to socialize your loved one and let you get some respite. Get out, socialize, have some entertainment, learn something while your loved one is in the care of a licensed adult daycare center with a nurse on staff, and they're safe. That's what we provide.
It's extraordinary.
It is.
Because we know that it's very unfortunate for a lot of people who are okay and they love their husband or wife or person they're with, their mother, and yet they can't get out. But this way they can get out, as you're saying, and still have fun, still know that everybody's being cared for. I always rave about the Volen Center because there's so few places that really cater to all the ages. That's what you're doing in a sense.
Even in our daycare centers, a lot of caregivers or people who are taking care of someone who has Alzheimer's, dementia, or even mobility issues, they feel like, oh, it's just for older people or old people. I have young people in our daycare centers, those with congenital disabilities, those with traumatic brain injuries. They have caregivers also that need some respite. So the facilities are not just for those with cognitive disabilities.
We're talking about the Volen Center now, and I'm going to give you a way to get. It's really the website is great because it will have all these things on it. It's called volencenter.com, volencenter.com, and I think that you should get on the web, get someone to help you if you don't know how, or just get over there.
Get over there
and go there. It's really right off Palmetto by the I-95, and you won't believe it. I love the park-like setting.
It's beautiful.
Do people actually go out there and sit outside?
Some go out and sit out
in
front.
The nice weather.
In this weather, it's wonderful. They do go sit outside, walk around in the summer. We all know it's hot in Florida, so we don't get so many people, but this is a perfect time of year that everyone goes out.
Yeah, and they can take their food outside, I guess, and eat outside if they take it. And they can bring their own food, too, can't they?
Certainly, they can bring a bag lunch. We also have the bistro there. The bistro is your regular lunch foods, but if 24 hours, if the day before, we can order food from 2J's for $3. So you can have a lunch the next day for $3 from 2J's, yes.
You mean a corned beef sandwich?
A corned beef sandwich.
Oh, my gosh.
With chips and a cookie and a drink, and that's your
$3.
Correct.
Well, there's going to be a run on this, I would think. Why go to 2J's if you can have this done, right?
Yes.
you have really made a lot of arrangements. You see, that's what's happened. This didn't just fly casually. Somebody's
Right.
had to really know who to get in touch with, talk to them. I don't know if it's you or your boss, Jared, who.
Right.
I mean, it's spectacular that
Yeah.
you do this.
Everyone is interested at the Volen Center in making life easier for the older adults in our community, and the Volen Center does it.
I know it does. It's a happy place, but it's a very important place for people who are scared, are growing older, they don't have anybody to be with, and for maybe 4 hours a day, they can be somewhere else, and it makes the difference when they go home.
Our buses arrive. I'd say the first bus arrives between 9 and 9:30, and the last bus leaves at 3.
All right. Now, what if somebody needs to go to the pharmacy or they need to go shopping for something? How does that work?
Often at the front desk, there's a phone, and they will call back to transportation and say, "Hey, a group of us need to go to Publix." And Erica, who is the transportation supervisor, will get that bus pulled around and get everybody loaded on, and they can go to Publix. Or, hey, we want to go to Ross.
And then they wait, right?
The bus waits, yes.
And then they get their groceries.
And bring them back, and then they'll take them home.
All right. Now, what about doctor's appointments?
Doctor's appointments, you can call the day before, let them know when your doctor's appointment is, and they will go and get you and take you to your doctor's appointment and pick you up afterwards.
So can they do this from their home also?
Yeah, they do it from their home.
Oh, so they don't need to come to the center then to go from there.
No. But if they're at the center, if they're enjoying a day at the center and say, we feel like going, let's go to the mall or let's go to Ross, they'll make it work for them.
Well, you have 30 buses, I think. So,
We do,
And
yes.
they're always, I see them on the road all the time, I must say.
We
And,
do 300 rides a day.
You know, that's just extraordinary.
It is.
Isn't it, when you think about it?
I don't know how they
No,
schedule
I don't
it
know
all.
how they do this. And this didn't happen casually. So the Volen Center has really been around, I think, for 30 some odd years?
Yes,
It's been a
long
while.
time.
It took a long time to do this because I dare say that there are a lot of good senior centers all over South Florida, and we're happy that they're there. But I don't know of another one that has the capacity to do what the Volen Center does.
I agree. Because not only do we offer the activities and the transportation, we have the programmings department, which assists with, people who can't pay, say, their electric bills or their water bill, or they help them get with the area agency on aging and help with funding through, say, Alzheimer's Dementia Initiative or Community Care for the Elderly. We have case managers that assist with that.
I'm exhausted. It's it is. And I know you're proud to work there, and
I
I'm
am.
proud to be a part of it. It is spectacular. I just love this. So let's keep going. So now they've danced.
They've danced, and so that was Thursday. Dancing's Thursday. Trivia Wednesdays, 10 to 11 a.m. Fun and challenging and free and open to the seniors
Now
or anybody who wants to
people
come in.
love trivia. I mean,
I love trivia.
I always say it's just trivia. They do, and it does. It stimulate their mind, doesn't
Correct.
it? Isn't that the whole point of doing it?
Correct. And it's competitive. Everyone likes to be competitive. I'll hear somebody across the room and somebody will ask a question. This one gets it wrong, and someone up there is like, I have the correct answer. And they go back and forth, and eventually someone has it, or the person who's sitting at the front will let them know who it is.
And who runs all these different?
Well, this is actually one of our volunteers who I adore, Elliot. He runs the trivia.
But all the other events, you have a staff member usually that's there?
We have staff for that. We call it's life enrichment. We have staff for that part of the facility. But we get as many volunteers as we can to bring in their own special gift to the center. Elliot is great with people. He gets out there and does the trivia. Like I said, Vicky with the Latin American Club, she's awesome. She was actually Volunteer of the Year last year. So, whoever we can get in there to create a space or a group, they're welcome to come in.
And who's responsible for all these programs? Is it Jared?
The programming comes a little bit from everyone. Jared throws some programs in. Sometimes the volunteers have a great idea that just catches on, and so that becomes a program. Maritza, who is the supervisor of Life Enrichment, they just had their first Thai chair chi this morning.
Really?
Yes.
What was that like?
It's great because it's a little bit of Tai Chi, some exercise. And so for those who can stand are welcome to stand. For those who aren't as stable or as mobile, they do Chair Chi. So they do it in their chair.
It's terrific. Absolutely terrific. I know why you love this, Kim. This is Kim LOVITO. She's an RN, and she actually does a lot of things, but her official title is Director of the Adult Daycare at the Volen Center, and you can go online to volencenter.com. And the other thing that I think is interesting is that you are going to have a big event in March.
We are.
And I think everybody ought to get your calendars out and write this down because this is going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. It's a flea market as well as a craft fair. So not only are we're looking for vendors to come in, we're looking for a crowded facility that day. So everyone come in and see if there's anything from the flea markets that you're looking for, and of course the arts and crafts fair.
Would you like people to bring things to you for the flea market now themselves?
Well, they set up their own tables, and so that they can, if they're interested in being a vendor there, they can call us at the Volen Center, 561-395-8920, and they will register you on the phone.
Oh, so people can be there. So you're looking for vendors in the flea market, but
Correct.
you're also looking for people who like crafts.
Arts and crafts.
Now, what's that actually going to look like?
It could be jewelry. It could. I've seen them come in where they've done art on T-shirt art and.
So they do it sitting there?
Sewing. Well, they've created it and they're bringing it in as part of the flea market. So instead of just bringing it in as your old stuff that you're trying to get rid of, this is stuff that they've created. And so it's a little bit of both.
Okay, so what we want to do is help people to get there, number one. And what's the date on that?
It's March 12th. March 12th.
March 12th, and is it all day?
It's usually will start, I want to say 9:30, and it's usually over by 1.
Okay, so they will come. And one thing I have to tell you about the Volen Center, they have so much parking. That's never going to be a problem. You don't need to have people in these little motorized scooters picking you up and taking you anywhere. If you need it, they do. But most of it, the parking is delicious. It's just
Remember,
great.
we park 30 buses on this property, so there's parking.
Plenty of parking. And so you get there. Now, if they get there on that day, is there also, how will they eat?
Well, the bistro is there. If they know that they're coming, they can also order the day before 2J's.
Okay, but can they also, what about if
We
they're...
have meal site.
Yeah, so
but
it's a meal site too.
We are a meal site. So if you generally come to our facility every day, we do meal site. We have to know who's there.
Yes.
We reserve the food.
Right.
But we'll do meal site. Not in the auditorium like we usually do, but it will be down the hallway. We always do meal site.
Okay, so all this occurs in the auditorium inside. It's not outside.
The flea market will be inside and down the hallways, yes.
Oh, and have you done this before?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so
I think we do it twice a year.
So it's very successful, I have to
It
assume,
is
or you
successful.
wouldn't really.
You can't get through the hallways on those days.
So people are they're buying things or they're not buying things.
Correct.
It's depending on what they.
Thinking about buying things, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun, especially the people who are the artists who are there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You should. The staff all goes out there. Oh, what can we buy this time? What's new? Is that person back? To see if we can buy another piece of jewelry from that person that we bought the bracelet from last time.
So what would a flea market look like, though? What's going to be there?
Some people do bring in some. I've seen some, framed art that they've had in their home that they no longer are using. So they're flea market items instead of unused items. They're more used items.
What if they want to donate to the Volen Center and not sit there? Would they do that? And how would you distribute that?
I don't think that we have the space to bring in that type of stuff. We always are looking for donations when it comes to like wheelchairs, walkers, anything like that. But as far as your home goods, we wouldn't accept that because we don't really have a place to keep it. We're trying to keep our walkers and our wheelchairs and all that together.
I know we just did an article on this with walkers and wheelchairs. Why don't we just take a step back a minute and talk about that? So when someone comes there, don't they normally have a walker or wheelchair?
Some people do. If someone needs a walker, there's often people who are resistant to the use of mobility devices. And I always encourage it if I see someone's unstable or if someone has a fall, then we'll talk to a caregiver and say, hey, maybe they need a walker. But they're very expensive, especially like the 3-wheel walkers or the rolling walkers. They're a lot easier to use, but they're expensive. So if someone has equipment like that, we'd definitely love it if they donated it. And then we can give it to someone who needs it.
Yeah, that's very important. And so you have room for that. And actually, that wouldn't necessarily be daycare. It's a matter of someone wants to be in entertainment, but they need a walker. That's pretty much what.
Even those that are, had something happen, they ended up in the hospital and they're recovering. And they may only need the walker for a short period of time, but it's an expense for them and not something they're going to hopefully not keep forever. Right. And they may donate it back to the center when they're done.
So it's wheelchairs and walkers.
Wheelchairs, walkers, adult briefs, chucks, which are almost like a plastic pad.
You need that.
Those kind of things, correct.
You need that in the daycare center. Because
we need them in the daycare, and sometimes people who aren't in the daycare
have
need
an accident or something. Oh, so you have a big assortment of extra things. So if someone has passed away and their family has a lot of that, they ought to really go over to you and give it to you.
Yes, and keep in mind, too, we don't just have the people that come to our center. We have a whole case management department that goes out to the community so that they go out through all of South County, those who are in their homes. They may need a bedside commode in their home. I mean, we're looking for those type of donations.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I remember a lot of that. And I don't know what you do with them. I guess you call someone normally, but this way you can give it to the Volen Center and you'll make good use of it.
Correct.
So that's good. We don't want to see them out on the roadside. We want to get over to the Volen Center. Is there anything else we're missing?
So let's see. Hot Topics we do every Mondays and Tuesdays.
And what would that be like?
News and Hot Topics.
Do people get crazy with that?
Some of them, especially. I'm sure that's going to happen this year.
That's right. With the politics, they get a little crazy, but I suppose you...
It's okay, though.
And you control it.
Yeah, I think people can control themselves. I mean, everyone's allowed a disagreement, but they're respectful. I've heard them have disagreements, and, everybody listens to someone else's point of view. Doesn't mean you take it in, but they can have a civil discussion about it.
Hope you have a psychologist running that.
Right. I think it's actually another volunteer. So,
really?
Yeah, but everyone's very, nice to each other, and they can have their difference of opinion and move on.
So it's called Hot Topics.
Hot Topics.
Okay.
And then we do the educational series, which is in the main auditorium, and it's on Mondays at 11:15, and it's also known as Horizons. We'll bring some folks in, like speakers that want to volunteer their time, professors maybe from FAU. I know I had some nursing students last year who came in from Palm Beach State that were speaking on health topics. And not only are they giving the information to the public, they're also receiving their volunteer hours for graduation and getting to meet a bunch of people in our great community.
How many people would you dare say attend something like that? 30?
It depends on the day, and it depends on, the
weather.
It depends on the weather, and it depends on if we get a nutritional person that comes in, a dietitian, or even someone from Pampered Chef, and they've got food, it's packed.
Oh, I see. Oh, so I see. They come and then they give out food, or they give out some samples or something.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you're not short on speakers, because I do know a lot of people that would volunteer and do it. I mean,
Please volunteer.
Okay, and what if someone plays the guitar and sings? It wouldn't come to that. It would be a different thing.
It would be a different thing. We would do a little show. Like, we used to have someone who would come in, I wouldn't say every Friday around 1 o'clock and play. We have a huge piano in our lobby and play the piano for an hour or so, and all the members would gather around. It was wonderful. He moved. So I would love to have somebody who's interested in volunteering to come out and play the piano.
Right.
That would be great, or any instrument.
And do they sing?
Some sing.
No, I mean, do your
Some
members sing?
Some of them do. Yes.
Because that's so healthy.
Absolutely. Music it's amazing what music does to people.
Yeah, and you would know that.
I
mean, with your nursing cap, we're going to put your nursing cap on. But it is very special. Well, are there anything that we missed before we have
Let's
to
see.
go off?
I think that was.
This is just terrific.
Oh, the movie vault.
Oh, my God. You saved the best for last.
I did. The movie vault. Oh, and Bunko. So I have movie
Okay.
vault. The
What's
movie
the
vault
movie vault?
is Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 o'clock. So
And what
classical
kind of
movies,
movies?
new releases, and documentaries open to the public.
Really? And they get to sit there and they get to watch the movie free.
Correct, free. And then
Well, of
I
course,
think
if they're a member, it's the $60 for the whole year.
$60 for the whole year. And then
You
if
have
you're a
popcorn?
member, I don't think they have popcorn right now, but I know they have other. I know they have other refreshments. Usually, it's like cakes and pies and cookies, that kind of refreshments. That's usually what we
Absolutely.
get,
I wish I didn't work.
right? And then we have Bunko time. Bunko Fridays, 10 to 11:30, and beginners and intermediate tables.
I don't even know what bunko is. I've heard
I
of it,
don't
but I have
either.
no idea what it is.
But they're teaching you.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
if the older adults like that. So it is a place. It's like almost like going to a resort. That's what I've been thinking as you've been talking. Let's come to the Volen Center Resort. Maybe we need to add that word.
The resort. I like it as the day club, the resort.
Exactly.
Yes,
Maybe it's a Volen Club Resort because that's what resorts have. They have, food. They have companions. They have games. They have fun.
entertainment.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a resort, really. They're just not sleeping there.
It's great. Yes, they're just sometimes.
Well, Kim, I know that I know you would do this even if you didn't have to take money because it's so exciting.
It is exciting.
And you're not going to find anything like this anywhere. I mean,
No.
I know that. Of course, you came from a medical practice, and I'm so glad you wound up here because I think that it's changed your whole life, hasn't it? I see
It
that
is.
in your eyes
I
and the
see
way
that
you are.
It's nice to be able to go to a place where you see that you're making a difference. It really is, and not just for people who are in a needy position.
Kim, again, we've done it, and let's just give the phone number out again. Go ahead, just give out the phone number.
561-395-8920.
Okay, or go on the web because then you'll be able to see everything we talked about.
Correct.
And we'll be running some commercials. You'll be hearing more about this. We want to make sure that you go in March. That was March the 12th. We'll tell you more about that because that's going to be a big fun event. Thank you very much, Kim. Always
you.
when you come here, it's great.
Thanks so much.